guys. Again, my name is Josh Cunningham, the founder and CEO of Rokrbox. Gotta say, what a privilege and an honor it is to be at a real estate conference where we're actually talking about building businesses, because that's what really excites me. I'm an entrepreneur at heart, always have been, always will be. Again, my company is called Rokrbox. For those of you who don't know what a Rokrbox is, it's an old gold mining tool that they used to use in the 19th century to separate the sand and the gravel from the gold. And essentially that's what we do with your internet leads. So we're an internet lead follow company. We take that big pile of dirt that you know is internet leads, and we scrub through them, and we find those little flakes of gold. But I don't have a formal presentation today. Again, Lars, thank you so much for inviting me on the stage. Over the last couple of years, I have done a ton of research. I'm actually writing a book. It'll be out later this year. And if you want to say the 1995, I'm going to give you really the three key statistics that the book covers today. But before we get to that, I want to kind of talk a little bit more about, who I am, what we do, and really most importantly, why it is that we do what we do. So again, I love that this is a conference that we're actually doing a deeper dive and reflecting on, who we are, what we do, and most importantly, why do we do that each and every day. So my story begins significantly back in 2011. I was working with Frank Pleasants at Viral Marketing. How many viral clients do we have in the house? So back when I met Frank, he had about 30 total clients. As you know, now he works with about 500 different real estate professionals across the country. So I was working with Frank back in 2011. I was one of the first 50 people on his team. And I had the privilege and opportunity to travel with Frank and go all around the country to every single real estate event we could get our hands on. So Frank was a big believer in obviously referral networking and marketing, and so we would buy our ways into the most prestigious rooms in real estate. So many of you have been in this room, these rooms, this is one of those rooms, but we were going to all the top masterminds, all the top real estate events. We listened to every single coach in the real estate industry and their prescriptive method on how to be successful. But as many of you know, there's a lot of different paths to success, right? You guys just need to make sure that you pick one that you're comfortable waking up and living every single day. So here Frank and I were going to every single real estate conference in the world. And back in 2011, when I first met Lars, we were sitting in Charleston, South Carolina at Boomtown's first ever mastermind. And we went around the room, and everybody said, please give us your number one strength, like what is the greatest thing going on in your business right now, and let's talk about your biggest frustration. And there was an entire room of about 50 top agents in the country. Everybody went around the room, and about 80% of the room said something along the lines of, my agents don't follow up with their internet leads, right? And some of a small portion of the room actually mentioned, hey, I've kind of learned how to solve that problem. I actually hired what's called an ISA. So don't give the leads to the agents, no, give them to the ISA. And I remember Frank and I turned to each other and we said, smells like opportunity, right? When you have all the top agents in the country complaining about one consistent thing, and there's a couple people out there that have maybe come up with a solution, that sounds like opportunity to me. So over the next couple of years, as I traveled with Frank as a member of Viral Marketing, I would definitely tune into these conversations about ISAs and internet lead follow-up. And I started networking and mixing with the greatest influencers in the ISA world, and started learning from the teams that were doing this at a really high level. What was it that they were doing? And so as I was fulfilling my duties at Viral Marketing, I basically coached people on how to make educational videos to stay in touch with their database. But every time I would talk to my clients about their 2 videos a month, they would always ask me, hey, what are you learning at these other events? Like, what are some other ideas, other strategies that I can apply in my business? And a lot of times it was always coming up with the ISA thing, right? Over and over and over. And one of my clients, Spring Benson from Salt Lake City, Utah, she looked at me and one day and was like, hey, I'm about to cancel all my internet leads. I can't get this internet lead follow thing to work. And so I said, you know what? You need to hire an ISA. And she said, Josh, it's easier said than done. Why don't you do it for me? And that was about 5 years ago. And it started off as a part-time project, turned into a full-time business. What we learned in that first project was we hired one person. We put them in the real estate office, we paid them an hourly wage, and we said, you're going to love doing this for the rest of your entire life. Right? That worked about 30 days. Right? Until she wanted to go be a real estate agent, and she went out and got her license, and we were back to square one. I am from College Station, Texas, home of Texas A&M University, and despite all the Ivy jokes, it actually is a very prestigious university. So we get a really good pool of talent that comes to that town. There's about 55,000 students actually right across the street from our office. And all these kids are the top 10% of their class, extracurricular everything, always overachievers. And I thought to myself, I can go back to College Station and hire a bunch of these young, enthusiastic, and sharp kids just to do the job. It's really not that hard to do, someone just has to do it, right? And we have to make the work meaningful, we have to make it fun. And we have to know that this person's not going to do this for the rest of their entire life. right? So we've conquered the ISA model. We've learned how to hire, how to attract, how to train, how to retain really good quality talent to make those calls for you, right? It's really simple. And so like I said, I had 3 statistics that I wanted to share with you today. The first, Lars kind of alluded to it earlier. About 10 years ago when you bought internet leads, there was about 4.5 to 5.5 million transactions that have been done consistently over the last 10 years of the real estate cycle. And 10 years ago, for the 4.5 million transactions, there was 2.7 million internet leads. So like Lars said, if you had an internet lead, that was proprietary information. Nobody else had that. There weren't a bunch of websites to go and subscribe and put your information on. Right? It was very cutting edge, it was very ahead of its time. So you had proprietary information, you had exclusivity to that information. Well, last year, for the 5.5 million homes that were sold, right, so pretty consistent growth, 4.5 to 5.5. Last year, there was estimated over 125 million internet registrations created. That's insane, right? And so what I take from that is it's an insanely competitive market, right? And so a lot of times when people are presented with an insanely competitive market, they want to back away from it and try to figure out something else to do. But the second statistic that I want to share with you is that unfortunately you can't do that because everybody's online. It doesn't matter whether you're old or young or new to technology or grew up with technology in your hands. Everybody's searching for homes online. 92% of people start their search online, and last year 44% of home buyers actually said they found their home online versus 33% from a realtor. So that's dangerous. That means people are using technology to replace the human work that we do, right? And so the third statistic, the most compelling statistic that I found in all of my research over the last couple of years is that all of home buyers were polled and asked the reason, right? What was the logical reason that you chose to determine the timing of your home purchase, right? The home purchase. This is the biggest, largest financial transaction that most people will ever embark on. And guess what the number one answer was? When they were given a multiple choice answer of availability of homes, affordability of homes, mortgage rate options, there was an overwhelming 46% response that it was just the right time. It's just the right time. I don't need a logical reason why I just invested $250,000 or $500,000 or $1 million in their home. It was just the right time, right? And so what does that tell you? That buying a home is still an emotional decision. And we live in a society nowadays where everything is instant gratification. Everything we get at our fingertips when we want it, how we want it, and the way that we want it. And so what that means, if you want to win an online lead generation game, if you want to win in today's instant gratification society, you have to become an instant gratification provider. And so that's what we help you do at Rokrbox. If you guys want to learn more information, we've got a mixer tonight. It's already fully booked. For those of you that will be there, we would love to see you and chat with you. If you haven't gotten booked for the mixer that we're having this evening, we do have a table out in the hallway. We've got plenty of our reps here. We'd love to talk to you about how we can help you become an instant gratification provider in today's real estate market. Thanks for your time, guys.
All right, last push here. This is the heaviest lifting we're going to do. So we are, follow along in the main workbook, page